Good morning, everyone. Let us start. Today we shall learn a new chapter, Human Settlements, Chapter 10 of Fundamentals of Human Geography. Now I will present. So this is a new topic, Human Settlements, Chapter 10, Fundamentals of Human Geography. First of all, let us learn what is meant by human settlement. So now let us learn the meaning of human settlements. It is given here. A human settlement is defined as a place inhabited more or less permanently. So a settlement is defined as a place inhabited by human beings more or less permanently. It might be a permanent one or it may be temporary. Okay, that is occupied for short periods due to some reasons. In other words, we can say that a settlement refers to cluster of houses, okay, cluster of dwellings or clusters of houses, and see village, then town or a city. All these are examples of these human settlements. Okay, and the study of human settlements is basic to human geography. Study of human settlement is very important, significant to human geography, because the form of settlement in any particular region reflects human relationship with the environment. Okay, the form of settlements here, it may be dispersed settlement or compact settlement. Okay, these forms of settlements are related with the environment, with the landscape. For example, say dispersed settlements you may find in the mountainous areas, whereas compact settlements you may find in the plain areas. So in this way, the form of settlement reflects, okay, the relationship, human relationship with the physical environment. So this is about meaning and concept of these human settlements. So next topic, we have classification of settlements, and here we have rural-urban dichotomy. Do you know the meaning of dichotomy? Anybody who knows the meaning of dichotomy? So dichotomy here means duality, okay, twofold or duality. So dichotomy means rural-urban dichotomy here means a classification, okay, into two opposite parts, that is rural and urban settlements. Okay, dichotomy means a classification into two opposed parts, that is called dichotomy. And here we shall discuss about rural-urban dichotomy, classification of settlements into rural and urban settlements, okay, as two opposed parts. And here we have a very important this statement given here. It is widely accepted that settlements can be differentiated in terms of rural and urban, but there is no consensus on what exactly defines a village or a town. Okay, so it is generally accepted that settlements can be divided into rural settlement and the urban settlement. However, there is no consensus. Okay, there is no agreement on what exactly defines a village or a town. So here consensus means agreement reached by a group as a whole. Means there is no general agreement about the definition of a village or a town. Okay, that is the point meaning given here. Let us see. So the first point, okay, supporting the statement is given here. Although population size is an important criterion, it is not a universal criterion, since many villages in densely populated countries of India and China have population exceeding that of some towns of Western Europe and the United States. Okay. So some scholars classify settlements into rural settlement and urban settlement based on population size. Okay, but see here also there is not a universal criterion that say what should be the total number of population that can be called a village, or what should be the total number of population that can be called a settlement as urban. There is no consensus. Okay, there is no agreement about it. It is not defined properly. Okay, to classify settlements into urban and the rural on the basis of population size. See, because many villages in the densely populated countries of India and China have population exceeding that of some towns of Western Europe and the United States. So in some Western Europe and United States, okay, in some countries of Western Europe and the United States, if a settlement has reached, say for example 200 say people, or say 1,000 people, then we may call it a town, okay, like that. And however, say in case of this China in India, say a village may have a big population, okay, as big as 30,000. For example, a village in UP, okay, a village in UP may have a population of 30,000. Whereas in the Western European countries, okay, a town may have only around say 1,000 population or 2,000 population only. So in this way there is no agreement, okay, about this classification of rural and urban settlements on the basis of this population size. So next important point in support of the statement is given here. See, at one time, people living in villages pursue agriculture or other primary activities, but presently in developed countries, large sections of urban population prefer to live in villages even though they work in the city. Okay. So there was a time that we classify settlements into urban and rural on the basis of these functions, okay, on the basis of this occupational structure, that generally we find primary activities, okay, like agriculture, fishing, hunting in the villages, and in the cities tertiary and quaternary activities may be there. But nowadays we have a trend, okay, see, people working in the big cities, also prefer to live in the villages, whether they work, okay, so even though they work in the big cities. So this is another point in support of this statement, okay. And see, regarding this, we have this another point also here, okay, suburbanization. Okay, it also will tell you that there is no consensus, okay, there is no agreement about this classification of these rural settlement or urban settlements. See here, what do you mean by suburbanization? So suburbanization is a new trend of people moving away from congested urban areas to cleaner areas outside the city in search of a better quality of living, okay, in search of better environment, in search of a better clean, okay, and a clear atmosphere. People are moving away from the congested urban areas to the cleaner areas of the these villages, okay, and that process is known as suburbanization, and it is also known as suburb, okay, it is also known as suburbs. So important suburbs nowadays develop around the major cities, okay, important suburb develop around major cities, and every day thousands of people commute from their homes in the suburb to work to their workplaces in the city. That means, as we discussed earlier, nowadays city dwellers prefer to live, okay, in the rural areas, and say they commute from their home, okay, to the big cities to work there. So this is another point in supporting the statement that there is no consensus on what exactly defines a village or a town, okay. So some more points you'll find. See, another point is here, there is no uniformity in the hierarchy of the functions provided by rural and urban settlements. Okay, again, another this complicated say concept is coming up. See, there is no uniformity in the hierarchy of function, in the level of functions provided by the rural settlements and the urban settlements. Now let us see. Petrol pumps. Petrol pumps are considered as a lower order function in the United States, while it is an urban function in India. That means petrol pumps are the functions of rural settlements in the United States. Okay, whereas petrol pumps are a function of urban settlements in India. Just see the differences. Okay, petrol pumps are considered as rural function in the United States of America, while it is an urban function in India. Okay, so this is another point in support of the statement that there is no consensus on what exactly defines a village or a town. Okay, then another point is given here. See, in support of the point statement mentioned here, see, facilities available in the villages of developed countries may be considered rare in villages of developing and less developed countries. See, say again, let me read you. Facilities available in the villages of developed countries like Western European countries and these American countries, okay, may be considered rare in the villages of developing and less developed countries. Just we have seen one example that petrol pumps are the function of these rural settlements in American countries, whereas it is a function of urban settlements in India. So in this way, facilities found in the villages, okay, in the developed countries will be a function of urban settlements in the developing and less developed countries. That is the point mentioned here. Okay, so any question regarding this statement? Any question regarding rural-urban dichotomy? Any question regarding rural-urban dichotomy? Dichotomy means twofold or duality. Okay, rural-urban dichotomy means classification of settlements into rural and urban settlements as two opposed parts. Okay, that is called rural-urban dichotomy. And you must know that there is no consensus, there is no general agreement, okay, on what basis can a settlement be called a rural settlement or urban settlement. Okay, there is a that is a big debate. Okay, any question? Emmanuel is coming. Since you don't have these problems, then I will proceed. So here in the box, okay, the Census of India 1991 defines urban settlements as follows. So this is a very long exhaustive definition of urban settlements in India. All places which have municipality or municipal corporation, cantonment board, notified town area committee, and have a minimum population of 5,000 persons. Okay, at least 75% of male workers are engaged in non-agricultural pursuit, that is in the secondary and the tertiary sectors, that is service sector, and a density of population of at least 400 persons per square kilometers are called urban. This is according to 1991 census report. Okay, this definition is based on Census of India 1991. Next, we have another topic, that is types and patterns of rural settlements. And we know that settlements can be classified by their shape or by their patterns also. Okay, however, here we have a classification based on shape. Okay, we have two major types of settlement based on shape. The first one is compact or nucleated settlements, and let us try to find out the important features of compact or nucleated settlements. So here the first picture is given here. Picture means any important point, okay, any significant statement regarding the topic or the meaning. So these settlements are those in which large number of houses are built very close to each other. Say in case of compact settlement, the houses are closely built together, as you see here in this photograph. See, so this is an example of compact settlements, and in this picture you will be seeing that all the buildings, houses are closely knit together. Okay, they are built very close to each other. So this is one important feature. Another one is that such settlements develop along river valleys and in fertile plains. Generally, we find compact settlements in the fertile plains or along the river valleys. Then another point is here, another feature. Communities are closely knit and share common occupations. Okay, there is a very close link among the people, and they share common occupation. So in these compact or nucleated settlements. And next we have another type of settlement, okay, on the basis of SAP, that is dispersed settlements. So what are the important characteristic features? So this is the first one. So in these settlements, houses are spaced far apart and often interspersed with fields. See, as the name indicates, in this type of settlement, houses are widely spaced, okay, and often the houses are interspersed with fields, as you see here. Okay, see here in these pictures, see, so houses here, okay, are widely spaced and it is interspersed with fields and trees or forests. Okay, and another important feature is here a cultural feature such as a place of worship, maybe a church or a temple, okay, or a marketplace, binds the settlement together. See, we know that in dispersed settlement the houses are widely spaced, okay. Say the distance among the houses is very big. So however, a common feature, okay, maybe a church or a temple or a marketplace binds all the people in the settlement together. So this is another feature. And one more point you can add is that, so this our settlement we find in these hilly terrains, okay, in the mountainous areas. So these are the two types of settlements. Next we have these rural settlements, okay. Here we shall discuss the meaning of rural settlement and what are the factors affecting the location of rural settlements. Okay, so before we start, do you have any question before we start? Yes, Basti, you may not find, okay, it similar with your textbook, because I'm using the latest one, okay, 2020-21, okay, the textbook which is prepared for the 2020-21 session by the NCERT is used now, and that is why you may not find, okay, similarity say with your textbook, okay. But anyway, it's okay. If you find any area which is not explained by me, then you can ask me, okay. If you have any other this topic which is not covered by me, you can ask me now. Okay, so shall we proceed? So here from this sentence, let us try to grasp the meaning of these rural settlements. So rural settlements are most closely and directly related to land, and they are dominated by primary activities such as agriculture, animal husbandry, fishing, etc. So from these two sentences we may get the meaning of rural settlements, okay, like this. Rural settlements are the settlements which are closely and directly related to land, and the occupational structure is dominated by primary activities such as agriculture, animal husbandry, and fishing, okay. So this is the meaning of the rural settlements, okay. Or we can define like this. Rural settlements consist of villages in which most of the people are engaged in primary activities, that is agriculture, fishing, mining, forestry, okay, like this. And generally we find these settlement size relatively smaller than the urban settlements. So this is the meaning of rural settlement. And next, let us discuss about factors affecting the location of rural settlements. And before that, just see this photograph. Okay, so it tells the siting of a settlement near water. Okay, siting means locating a settlement near water. Maybe here the water body may be a river or a lake, but in this photograph we are seeing a river. Okay, siting of a settlement near a river. So it tells, okay, it tells these factors. It explains why human beings are settled nearby a river. Let us see the first important factor affecting the siting of a rural settlement is given here, that is water supply. And you can also see figure number 10.3 also. So let us read. Usually rural settlements are located near water bodies such as rivers, lakes, and springs where water can be easily obtained. You know, in addition to this use of water for drinking, for washing and other domestic uses, okay, we also need water for irrigating our field. The most important economic activity for the rural settlement. Okay, so generally in the rural settlement we find agriculture as the main occupation, and for the agriculture we need irrigation, and that is why rural settlements are located on the bank of the rivers. Okay, and sometimes see the need for water drives people to settle in otherwise disadvantaged sites such as islands surrounded by swamps or low-lying river banks. So sometimes for the villagers, okay, for the want of water, okay, for the need of water, sometimes the villagers may settle on the disadvantaged areas also, like islands surrounded by swamps, waterlogged areas, or low-lying river banks, for the want of water. Okay, so it tells the importance of water to the rural settlements. Next, we have other important factor affecting the location of a rural settlement, that is land. And you have learned that these rural settlements are directly related with the land. See, people choose to settle near fertile lands suitable for agriculture. Okay, so we have learned that the main occupation of these villagers are this agriculture, and that is why they need fertile lands. Okay, and that is why, say for example, in Europe, villages grew up near rolling country, avoiding swampy low-lying land, while people in the Southeast Asia chose to live near low-lying river valleys and the coastal plains suited for wheat, rice cultivation. That means the selection of land, okay, the selection of land for settlement by the villagers is different from one place of the world to the other place of the world. For example, in these European villages, say the villagers actually want rolling country. Okay, rolling country means some ups and downs. Okay, rolling country is like this, undulated, but not a highland. Okay, rolling, just like this, rolling, some ups and down. Okay, and just to avoid these swampy areas. Okay, in the areas where there is swamps, they select these rolling grounds. Okay, and whereas in the Southeast Asia, actually people of Southeast Asia want to settle in the low-lying river valleys because their main occupation is agriculture and they are growing rice. And you know, rice requires a lot of water. Rice requires a wetland. Okay, and next we have another important factor affecting the rural settlement, that is upland. Okay, let us read. Upland, which is not prone to flooding, was chosen to prevent damage to houses and a loss of life. Sometimes we settle, okay, on the uplands, on the highlands to avoid floods. Okay, you know, the flood damages our houses, sometimes lead to the loss of life. And the flood, actually, sometimes it may not be predictable also. If we don't have any warning system, it may occur suddenly during the night time. So to avoid the damage of houses and the loss of life, so sometimes people used to settle on the uplands, okay, to avoid floods. Then thus in low-lying river basins, people choose to settle on the terraces and the levees, which are dry points. And that is why, see, people sometimes choose to settle on the river terraces, higher land surfaces and levees, which are the dry points, okay, in the river valleys. Do remember these river terraces and levees. See, for the river terraces, see, it is like this. These are called river terraces, step-like cases. And here from here you will find the low-lying area, and this is the levee. Okay, and this is the river. Okay, so here and here this is floodplain. Here this area is flooded frequently. See, here this is known as terrace. Terrace, and this is known as floodplain, and this is known as levee. Okay, see, so people generally choose these terrace and the levees, okay, and the levees for settlements. And you know, floodplains, okay, this is a low-lying area, and when the river is in flood, so this area will be flooded. Okay, that is the point mentioned here. Then another important factor affecting this rural settlement is the building material. Okay, so let us read. The availability of building materials, for example wood, stone, near settlement is another advantage. That means say in the primitive society, people used to construct their houses in the areas where raw materials are available. Okay, and early villages were built in the forest clearings where wood was plentiful. Okay, see, as I told you, in the primitive societies, people used to construct their houses nearby the areas where raw materials for the construction of the buildings, houses are available. And that is why early villages used to build their houses nearby the forests, okay, where trees, wood, timbers were available, okay, in plentiful. And say one example here, in the very harsh climatic condition, okay, regarding the building material, See, Eskimos, okay, in the polar region, use ice blocks to construct igloos, that is their house. Okay, in this way, the environment, okay, the resources found in the nature affect these type of the building types of the house. Okay, and next we have another important factor, that is defense. See, regarding defense, let us read the first sentence. Okay, see here, during the times of political instability, that is maybe this civil war, okay, maybe communal riot or fightings, war, hostility of these neighboring groups of villages were built on defensive hills and islands. So in some areas, in some countries where there is political instability, where there is civil war, or where there is hostility, or say of the neighboring groups of villages, okay, in those countries, people built on the top of the hills and islands for defense purpose. Okay, so when we construct our houses, say on the top of a high mountain, okay, when we construct our houses here, then we can see easily, okay, the coming of these enemies towards our village. Okay, this is the advantage of constructing these our houses on the top of a hill. Okay, and so you will find an example in Nigeria. See here, in Nigeria, upstanding incel works form good defensive sites. That means in Nigeria, houses are generally constructed on incel works, okay, for these defense purposes. You know incel work? Actually, incel work, see, I think in class 11 you have learned about the cycle of erosion in the desert also. See, actually it is a big rock, okay, as big as a hill or a mound. This is known as incel work. Okay, once it was below the ground, okay, but because of wind erosion, this big rock as big as a conical hill or a highland will be exposed on the surface, and this is known as incel work. And here these Nigerians are constructing their houses here, okay, for defense purpose. And the last important factor affecting the rural settlement is planned settlements. Actually, this is a policy, okay, this is a policy this taken up by the governments to have to have a permanent settlement. See, in this case, the site is not selected by the villagers, okay, villagers are not selecting the site, simply the government is selecting the site. Let us see. Planned settlements are constructed by governments by providing shelter and water and other infrastructure on the acquired lands. First, the government will acquire land, will select, okay, the land, then there they will construct houses, they will provide other amenities, okay, water supply and other amenities, roads, then these hospitals and others will be constructed, and after that the villagers are allowed to settle there. This is what I call planned settlements, and we have examples of these planned settlement here in India and in Ethiopia also. See here, the scheme of villagization in Ethiopia and the canal colonies in Indira Gandhi Canal Command area in Rajasthan, okay, in India are some good examples of planned settlements. So these are the factors affecting the real settlement. Any question from your side? Are you clear? Any question regarding this dichotomy or types of settlements, features of these settlements, or about the factors of real settlement? Okay. So I hope all of you are clear. Then thank you very much for joining my class. Let us stop here for today. As usual, please leave your names in the WhatsApp group for attendance. Thank you very much. Thank you all.